What's up everybody and welcome back to JCS Reefing. I am Jason and today we are going to run through an update on the 100-gallon tank behind me. Since my previous video, I think, which is like the last one talking about moving some corals and adding some new rock to try to spread out some of the corals, I have since moved the frog spawn up in the back corner, so we'll take a look at that. I am adding that rock in slowly, the Carib Sea shelves. And been kind of doing a piece at a time. So far I only added like 2 pieces, which kind of helped bring that frog spawn up, like I said, in the back. The other changes, not too much. Moved a couple corals around, but that's pretty much the point of this video today. I figured I'd give a quick little look to kind of show more in depth on what I'm talking about with the corals. So we'll kind of take a little bit of footage top-down view so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with how the corals are starting to collide together. So we're going to try to snip some of those off with some bone cutters here. Got some accelerator and got, of course, super glue. So I want to move some of the monoporas actually down to the bottom glass and see if I can get them to attach on the bottom and have that grow out on my bottom glass. Same thing with some of the favias that I have. So hopefully we can get those to stick to the bottom now that there's a decent amount of coralline algae. Because the tank is bare bottom, so the trick gets tricky to actually getting stuff to stick to the glass on the bottom, believe it or not. So I'm gonna give that a shot. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so before we dive into this video, if you're not subscribed or haven't checked out Pelfrey on YouTube, please go check him out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell so you're up to date with the future videos. So let's get to it. So as you can see here, a lot of my corals in my tank are starting to really grow together. I have some acropora back here that is starting to really merge and grow into one another. I have this, oh man, I have a bunch of coral back on the back side of the rocks that, you know, I thought when they were frags, you know, I'll just stick them back here and eventually they'll grow out. But some stuff starts to grow a little faster than others. I have this red favia that is kind of attached to the bird's nest rock that it's on. And just a lot of my corals are starting to grow into one another. I have an orange monopora. I got green monopora over here. And believe it or not, my tank was featured on Mr. Saltwater Reacts video on saltwater.com. And one of the feedbacks that I got was actually to split up some of the green that's in my tank. So I have a lot of green, as you see, on this side of the tank. And like I said, from previous videos, it was never taken into consideration. You know, coral placement is actually very, very, very big, and I'm starting to realize that now once starts to grow out. A lot of this stuff all started as frags, and like you can see on the back side of the rocks here, it's, you know, it's starting to grow, and it's like you don't even see it from the front side of the tank. So I'm gonna try to do my best to split up a lot of the green. Corals, for whatever reason, just seem to be very easy to come by, and a lot of people get them. But I do have, you know, this purple millie that is doing very, very well. So I kind of want to get just more space in between some of the other corals that are going on and split up a lot of this green section that's on this side of the tank. So this is the right side of my tank, and you know, these acros are doing really well. They're really encrusting. The coloration is great, but it's starting to kind of, as you can see, grow into that monopora in the front and just start to take over. So I want to try to spread some of this stuff out. And on top of that, I want to give myself some more room for future placement of corals. Now, like I said in the beginning of this, I do have a lot of rock that I want to add, some shelf rock. So a lot of this structure is going to kind of be moved a little bit. But this is the frog spawn that I kind of moved up in the back of the tank. It used to be down low, and I actually used some of the the shelf rock to kind of bring that up higher in the back. Acclimated it to the light, and it seems to be doing pretty good, and I like the way it looks right there. So I'm not going to mess too much with that side. So it's more just about getting rid of this side of the tank. I have a lot of green over here. I have a lot of acropora stuff that's starting to grow into one another. So what I'm going to do is there's this big acro back here, and I'm going to actually, believe it or not, just kind of cut that thing in half and try to get rid of that. I shouldn't say get rid of it, but move it to another side of the tank. So I'm going to kind of cut it in half and move one side over to the other to kind of give the tank a little more depth. And it seems like it'll be all right. But yeah, it definitely took a lot of work to get this thing out. This is not like it's not a very thin bone structure acro. I have no clue what the hell this thing is, but it was not easy to chop through. But you can definitely see some of the tissue on it. Underneath is starting to just get a little bit white and shaded. So I wanted to really kind of move that out. So I actually just put my hand in there and snapped a huge freaking piece off and kind of just moved that over to another like side of the tank. So once everything was kind of separated out, you can see this big acro back here used to be one big piece, and I actually took another chunk of it and moved it over to the other side. So what this did is actually just, spread out that side of the tank a little bit. It gave me a little bit more room. I cut off this monopora, this green one that was down up here, and I actually moved that down in the bottom left-hand side of the tank on the glass. I'm hoping that will kind of grow out in that corner, kind of on the glass, and kind of encrust itself. Like I said, this is a bare bottom tank, so I'm hoping that'll kind of grow out and make kind of like a cool looking piece that kind of just grows on the glass. I moved a green acro. Once again, not great with names, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I moved that over here. And once again, just kind of moving some of the green out of that right side of my tank and kind of distributing it up. I did do a nice big gap right there. I moved that purple millie down here, and that gave me a nice big gap on the left side of my tank, and to add future corals. I moved my orange monopora down here. Hopefully same thing. I'm hoping it kind of grows down and out onto the glass. And just took off some of the other little encrusting corals and put them on the glass. I kind of want them to encrust on the glass. And a lot of people say you forget that sand's there when you have a lot of stuff encrusted on glass. So that's kind of my thing. I've been trying to move some of that stuff. I actually did move one of my hammers that was here. It was it was surviving, man. It wasn't that great, but it was there. And I moved it over here in this corner, and we'll see what happens. I really don't know. For whatever the hell reason, I don't have great luck with torches or hammers. I did move my Green's bird's nest. I actually pushed that back on that rock. So I actually did remove that whole structure and move that back. The red Favia that's there, I think it's a Favia anyways. I moved that just a little bit further back. I wanted to get it down on the glass, but I just kind of wanted a little bit of mix, to break that color up. So as far as it is, man, this is what the tank's looking like today. I just still have some rock that I want to add. So it's going to be a kind of a work in progress, but I do hope that some of the monoporas kind of grow on that bottom glass, and that'll be cool to see. So anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, happy reefing. Cheers.